This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
What's going on with this, with the PGA Tour at launching a for-profit arm? And I guess I kind of expected that when the PGA Tour was merging or was taking an investment from the PIF that they were going to eventually merge with LIV, but doesn't seem that's the direction it's going, because LIV keeps getting PGA golfers to come over to them, and now the PGA is launching this for-profit arm in which it looks like they're getting involved with private equity.
Yeah, you've got the Fenway Group with John Henry. You've got Arthur Blank. You've got all these. It's like a consortium, I guess. I tell you, Phil, I don't know what's going on, because you get whiplash trying to follow Rory McIlroy, who now is back saying he's fine with he's fine with the guys who left to go to LIV. In fact, he had a long talk not too long ago with Terrell Hatton, and Hatton reports indicate he got about $60 million to go to LIV just here in the last few days. And of course, John Rahm went there, and it smacks of a certain desperation to me to keep up with what they're doing. And I think ultimately the player is going to be the big winners, because if you go all the way back to the NFL, AFL days, and the merger, and those guys that were lucky enough to come along then and got big bonus money, the golfers are going to benefit. And it's amazing what's happened in the last year.
Yeah, they said that he's going to be on that Legion 13 team. What does that mean when they're on like a 4-person team? Is it like they got an A player, B player, C player, and he's getting $60 million? You got to think John Rahm's getting close to what, $250 million or $500 million? Yeah,
and I mean, basically, Matt, do you care about team golf? I mean, I read again that there's a question whether LIV will even go forward with this, but that's what they're doing now. And Rory is right. I mean, he's at Pebble Beach this week, and he basically agreed with a questioner. He said, what does it mean if you beat a field that doesn't include, even though this is an elevated event, it doesn't include all these LIV guys or John Rahm or Terrell Hatton? And he basically agreed. He couldn't argue with the questioner that it is devalued when it's against not all the great players in the world.
Is there a way they merge back? Do you see it somehow where they do have a tour that have all? Because now it's so, I don't know if it's like the ABA and the NBA or the AFL and the NFL, because you have some really good players, and used to they were all on the PGA Tour, and now what is it, half and half?
Yeah, it looked like that was the way it was going, Matt. I mean, it looked like there was just going to be this agreement by December 31st, and then there wasn't, and then it got extended, and it just feels like Monahan is. This new thing is, what's it called? PGA Tour Enterprises. So they're desperate to keep the PGA Tour brand, front and center and ahead of LIV and all that. But I don't know. I get dizzy in the world of high finance, and I don't even understand it all.
It's one of the wild things about sports right now, and now it's working its way into professional golf. You see the Orioles are being sold by the Angelos family, and they've owned that team for, I think it's been a little more than 30 years. Look, I mean, Angelos, if I remember correctly, was he I think it was a trial lawyer who ended up, just doing incredibly well. He was a multimillionaire, but it's almost like the era of multimillionaire owners is over, and now you got to be a billionaire really to be an owner. Look at some of the names of the owners of professional American sports franchises that are part of this consortium that is doing this for-profit thing with the PGA. Tom Werner and John Henry, they're the owners of the Red Sox. Arthur Blank, owner of the Falcons. Steve Cohen, billionaire owner of the Mets. Grousbeck, billionaire owner of the Celtics. I mean, when the money keeps getting pumped up, well, millions eventually become billions, and there's only a select few people that have that.
Yeah, throwing a lot of artillery at this, and again, the players are going to be the beneficiaries. I mean, it's great for golfers, I guess, if you're a professional golfer right now.
Hey, Grant, this basketball team, we definitely need to turn things around and try to get on this winning column, get it, build something, get some momentum. What is something you saw out of that Kentucky game And I know it had to be an emotional game with everything going on up there. But what's something to take away that you liked, something that we can build off of that Kentucky game?
Well, I mean, fanatical effort. And, anytime Arkansas plays Kentucky, you're going to get that. So whether that has legs after that game, I don't know. I looked at this morning, and Missouri is a 4.5-point favorite, and they haven't won a game this year. The last win was late December. I know they've played a lot of teams close, and they've got this Bates kid who's a real problem to cover. Loved Arkansas's defense in that game. That probably was one of the top 5 games Eric's coached since he's been here. You're down 2 starters, and you've got and Kentucky has got 2 guys in the top 25 in the country in terms of postseason awards, and Shepard played great. Shepard scored 14 in the second half. I watched the game again this morning, and it just came down to 3 giveaways by Arkansas at midcourt, 2 by Elsa, I think 1 by Mark, and that's the 6-point difference. So, Arkansas played great. They played about as well as they could play in the circumstances and made it a nice game for television. I saw Jay Billis after the game. He was delighted, with the game and how Arkansas played. But whether that has legs tonight, who knows? The whole thing going on with Devo, and I've talked to people within the team that think he's coming back, that they're giving him some time to deal with these issues he has. But it's 1-6. It's going to be more and more difficult to keep these guys playing that hard unless they get some wins. So, tonight would be a great chance, you would think.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking, Grant. This is not a team. This is not a program. It's not a coaching staff that's going to be any good at playing out the string. Just all right, we got these games on the schedule. We got to play them. It's kind of how it felt at the end of the football season.
Mm-hmm.
We know how that played out, too. It wasn't even the win against Florida International. It was but, of course, because it's FIU. And 2 really, uninspired games against Auburn and Missouri. I wouldn't have thought that we'd be down to that with basketball, but truthfully, Grant, and we're just being completely honest about this, if they were to play a fabulous 40 minutes against Missouri tonight, that has nothing to do with how they'll play against LSU on Saturday. You don't know what to believe. You don't know what to believe. I don't think the coaches know what to believe. I don't think the players know what to believe if they have a good 5 minutes, because usually a bad 10 minutes follows.
Yeah, and I watched a little bit of LSU's game against Alabama this morning. What was left over on my recording, and it was 26-all at one point. I think Alabama ended up winning by a good margin, but LSU's got good players. Everybody in this league has got good players. But when you start losing like this, other stuff comes out, like what's going on here, or is Eric happy with how much NIL money he got this year? Did he lose a couple of key players he wanted because they didn't have as much as this team over here? And none of these things ever come out when you're winning, but you see a lot of strange stuff when you're losing, and that'll continue if they keep losing. But Arkansas fans are pretty resilient. If they can play well tonight and win, and they'll go in thinking they can beat LSU Saturday, right?
Hey, Grant, hopefully so. What were your thoughts over the weekend with these 2 championship games and kind of with that Baltimore Ravens game? Was that on Lamar Jackson, or was that on the offensive coordinator? Was that on Harbaugh? What happened? Did Baltimore they kind of let it? You hold Kansas City to 17 points, and couldn't find a way to get it done.
Well, those 2 key turnovers at their on-time, one I guess was almost a touchdown, and you had. And then you had Mahomes doing what he does when he does it always. That one, I think Baltimore probably looks back at that as thinking, hey, we were the better team. What happened? And then the Lions, same way. I really liked Dan Campbell. I liked watching Hard Knocks with him and everything. But, my gosh, when you're up 14 points, and you've got 4th and 2 to go 17 up with an easy field goal, and you don't go for that, and then you don't go for another one later, that's 6 points left out there. And then at the end of the game, when they desperately needed all 3 timeouts, they ran the ball and had to use a timeout there, so they didn't have anything left at the end. So I really think Dan botched that one for Detroit.
Do you get annoyed when they show Taylor Swift? I truthfully don't care. They're going to show somebody in the stands. Producers like to show fans. They're going to show somebody, whether it's a guy with a shirt off or a kid that's fallen asleep or somebody making a surrender cobra. They're going to show somebody. I mean,
I read today
still
the over and under is 5.5 on times they show her in the Super Bowl, and that seems like it should be about 50. But then I think she's got a concert in Tokyo 24 hours before, and so is she going to fly all the way back here and be there on no sleep? I guess that's the question.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.